Welcome to Deep Thought. A hidden population of people have mental health issues. A hidden population of people have mental health issues. You know what? I'm going to tell you what. I first really discovered that reality back in the 90s. I've mentioned publicly before, I had worked at the United States Department of Justice Civil Rights Division, Office of the Disability Rights Section. And I'm going to tell you what. One of the things I found is that there's a whole lot of people, one who is a very large population of people who have some type of disability. Very large. It's the largest minority, actually. And back then it was 49 million, so no telling what it is now. One of the things that I learned, though, is that a whole lot of people have mental health issues. Like way more. There tends to be a focus on the people with mental health issues who have to get professional help. They can't work. They can't really take care of themselves. But you have a whole lot of people who have mental health issues, and they can go to a job every day. In fact, one of the things I learned at the Disability Rights Section was if a person could work, they couldn't be discriminated against. So as long as they could do the job, that's the only thing, and that's what we focused on a lot. A lot of job discrimination type of things. It was like, can they do the job? Okay, you got to hire them. But the thing is, and I especially found that there's a lot of people. You might see them every day, talk with them, even hang out with them. Some people get in relationships with them, but they have mental health issues. And that's one of the things we don't talk about enough. People know me for talking about relationships, but one of the things, and I actually had a show where I brought on a mental health professional, a young man, for me, a young man. He's in his 30s, but he actually works with people. He actually works on the issues. I've actually referred people to him. And the thing is, so many people out here going through trouble. So many people. I would say it's a mental health issue if it interferes in any aspect of your life. Like I said, there's plenty of people who have mental health issues, but they can still work. But it depends on the job. But you have some other people with mental health issues. They work, but it interferes with their job and it's not noticeable. A lot of people may be fired from jobs more for mental health issues than anything else, but it might not have been diagnosed. And then just going through something just in your own privacy or something, that's dangerous. Like, I'm going to tell you what, like depression. Depression is a serious mental health issue, and a whole lot of people are going through it. Depression, I mean, we cannot get past that. And it could be for the smallest thing, but whatever the degree of it is, it can prevent a person from functioning, being able to do things. You got another mental health issue of anxiety. There are people who have panic attacks, and they can't stay on a job because of panic attacks on a job. But we might not see, people from the outside might say, oh, that person's lazy or something. Like, I'm going to tell you what, one of the things I really try to do, I ain't going to say I'm perfect with it, but I try not to use the term crazy with anybody. And not even in fun. Like, some people use it for fun, but why would they do that? Okay, if you saw somebody and, they needed a cane or they needed a wheelchair, would you say, oh, they can't walk or something? That's crazy. Oops, I just said it. Well, it is. But seriously, because that's wrong. That's wrong. Like I said, I'm still working on that crazy part because it's become such a part of the language. It's because sometimes people say it, don't think about it. Or if they're blind, people don't make a joke like, oh, they can't see. No. But just like even I use that term crazy. We use it as a regular term without thinking about it. After all, think about it. I just said I try not to use it, and then a few seconds later, I use it. But I did say it's tough. It is tough. But we got to take that seriously. I mean, because like these young people shooting up schools and everything. We need to look at the something going on You have to have a serious mental health issue to pick up a gun, pick up a weapon, kill people who, in all likelihood, don't even know you exist. Indeed, I'll get into that know you exist thing in a second. But to pick up a gun and just kill random people, that's a mental health thing. Only time, in my view, the only time killing someone has any justification, not even in war, but in absolute self-defense. Absolute. And when I say absolute, there's no other option. And even then, there's been stories of people who've done it in those cases, and it really hurt them. It really hurt them mentally. And that's another thing. You know, people can have a mental health issue because they have a guilt over doing something or taking some action that they didn't really want to take. Now, I mentioned that thing about feeling invisible. That's a mental health issue. There's a lot of people out here who, because they don't feel like they're being seen, they have real problems behind that. It's a lot of it. And, you know, like I said, it's definitely in relationships. And one of the things I think is a crying shame, and this is on YouTube, and I have to say it, there's a lot of people who take advantage of those people. They're going through some type of trauma, particularly with the opposite sex. So you get somebody there, come on here and feed it. That needs to stop. Because that's one of the reasons I try to avoid, like on my relationship channels, I try to avoid as best as possible doing anything to inflame someone's mental health issues. Notice I say it as best as possible because one thing about mental health, you don't know what affects them. You could trigger someone. You could trigger someone just because you behaving as a kind person who look like they got their life together. They have an issue because they don't. So just you existing can trigger. So you can't help sometimes. But what you can do, if you find out, you can see what you can do to help or recommend. Like I said, even when a lot of people hit me up for consultations or questions, there's been several times I recommended a mental health professional. And the reality is most of us are going through some stuff that can become dangerous. I tell you what, there've been some stuff in my life where if I really let it fester, it could have been a real problem. But one of the things I learned, especially growing up with, a mentally ill mother, was how to face some things. And I'll say that my mother was mentally ill. I'm the adult child of a mentally ill person. I had to grow up early. I had to behave like an adult early because of what she was going through. So I've seen this up close and personal. And you have, like I said, now she was able to get more help and everything, but how many people aren't? And it's something we really need to think about. A lot of people will, they'll do it on YouTube. They'll come on somebody's platform and they really projecting their own thing. You know, I've seen that with some trolls. They'll say something and I'm like, well, I don't do anything that person says. But all they're doing is projecting their own issue, their own insecurity. Unfortunately, you got some content creators that you can tell, a professional will tell you they have some issues they're dealing with, you know? And it's something that needs to be looked at. It really needs to be. There needs to be more of an effort at dealing with these mental health issues because it leads to so many other negative things. It leads to so much. It's touching so many areas. You have a lot of people in positions of authority and they have some mental health issues. You know, I would say racism, discrimination. A loan officer at a bank who's dealing with some mental health issues, they could really mess up some people's lives. And I'm serious. You know, even some medical professionals, if they have some mental health issue, it could touch someone else. It's not just the person, but it's not the person themselves, but the people whose lives that they impact. And it's something to really think about. It's something. Now, only thing I can say, I don't have a specific solution to it, a specific one, other than people need to recognize the issues and deal with them. And because when I'm thinking large. Okay, what can we do as a culture? Now, one of the things I say is change the culture, but there's a lot to that as well. And it's something to think about. It's something I do consider. Now, I don't have, like I said, I don't have a solution now. But it does in the back of my mind thinking, okay, what can we do about this? And I'm going to tell you what, if we have a mental health professional who hears this, you're free to share your information, okay? You're free to share your information on here, okay? If you're a true mental health professional, because people do need help, okay? And just to be clear, it's not about, some people can't look at it as a business opportunity. I want true mental health professionals to say something and even add to the conversation. Because as I said, I could talk about it, but even other than, people just getting help, and I'm saying, maybe a change in culture would help. It's something I'm not an expert in that area. I can talk about what I've seen, what I've observed, but I am not a mental health professional. So if we have any, please share your observations and everything. I would really appreciate it. That's one thing about this channel. It's for bigger conversation, because as I said on many of the subjects, I've said constantly, I'm not a guru on top of the mountain. I'm climbing with the rest of y'all. So, and this is a place. This is a place. If you can share something intelligently, I appreciate it. So, that's all I have for today. I want y'all to really think about this issue. All right? Peace and blessings.